Hello friends, welcome to a new video. Today we will study two stories about flying. This story has two parts, his first flight and Black Aeroplane. His first flight is by Liam O'Flaherty and Black Aeroplane is by Frederick Forsyth. So before you read, since the earliest times humans have dreamed of conquering the skies. Here are the two stories about flying. A young seagull is afraid to fly. How does he conquer his fear? A pilot is lost in storm clouds. Does he arrive safe? Who helps him? His first flight. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. He felt certain that his wings would never support him. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. Even when each of his brother and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, rather to the brink flapped their wings and flew away. He failed to muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. His father and mother had come around, calling to him shrilly, upbraiding him, threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away, but for the life of him he could not move. So in this, there is one seagull who was afraid to fly. His brother, sister, mother, father, all can fly, but he only could not fly because he was afraid. He was trying to fly, but he could not. So he, so his sister was also small, and she could fly, but he could not fly. And there was sea which stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. So let's move forward. That was 24 hours ago since the nobody had come near him. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his brother and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the waves and how to dive for fish. He had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it, standing on a rock while his parents circled around raising a proud cackle. And all the morning the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him with his cowries. The sun was now ascending the sky, blazing on his ledge that faced the south. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. He stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge, and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wig, he closed one eye, then the other, and pretended to be falling asleep. Still, they took no notice of him. He saw his two brothers and sister lying on a plateau dozing with their hands sunk into their necks. His father was preening the feathers on his white back. Only his mother was looking at him. She was standing on a little high hump on the plateau, her white breast thrust forward. Now and again she tore at a piece of fish that lay at her feet and then scratched each side of her beak on the rock. The sight of the food maddened him. How he loved to tear food that way, scraping his beak now and again to wet it. Ga ga ga, he cried, begging her to bring him some food. Gokul, she screamed back derisively, but he kept calling plaintively, and after a minute or so he uttered a joyful scream. His mother had picked up a piece of fish and was flying across him with it. He learned out. See, this picture depicts that how the mother is coming to give the food to the seagull. And let's move forward. Eagerly tapping the rock with his feet, trying to get nearer to her as she flew across. But when she was just opposite to him, she halted, her wings motionless, a piece of fish in her beak, almost within reach of his beak. He waited a moment in surprise, wondering why did not come nearer, and then, maddened by hunger, he dived at the fish. The loud scream he fell outwards and downwards into space. Then a monstrous terror seized him and his heart stood still. He could hear nothing, but it only lasted a minute. The next moment he felt his wings spread outwards. The wind rushed against his breast feathers, then under his stomach and against his wings. He could feel the tips of his wings cutting through the air. He was not falling headlong now. He was soaring gradually downwards and outwards. He was no longer afraid. He just felt a bit dizzy. Then he flapped his wings once and he soared upwards. Ga 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 ga. Gokul, his mother passed him, her wings making a loud noise. He answered her with another scream. Then his father flew over him screaming. He saw his two brothers and his sister flying around him, curveting and banking and soaring and diving. Then he completely forgot that he had always been able to fly, and commanded himself to dive and soar and curve and shrieking shrilly. He was near the scene of flying straight over it, facing straight out over the ocean. He saw a vast green sea beneath him, with little ridges moving over it, and he turned his beak sideways and cawed amusedly. See, these lines are highlighted because these are the important lines, and hope you understand the meaning of these lines, that how the seagull was able to fly, and why, and in these in this red highlighted, it is there can be one question come that why did not the mother gave seagull the fish, and how seagull was maddened by the hunger. And this is the uh, lines which tell us that how the seagull was able to fly. Let's move forward. His parents and his brothers and sister had landed on his green flooring ahead of him. They were beckoning and calling shrilly. He dropped his legs to stand on the green sea. His legs sank into it. He screamed with fright and attempted to rise again, flapping his wings. But he was tired and weak with hunger, and he could not rise, exhausted by the strange exercise. His feet sank into the green sea, and then his belly touched it, and he sank no farther. He was floating on it, and around him his family was screaming, praising him, and their beaks were offering him scraps of dogfish. He made his first flight. So hope you understood the chapter. This is very easy chapter and very small chapter. Let's move to the second part. Before that, here are some questions which is important and part of your NCRT book. So you can do this and write the answers in your practice notebook or whatever you have. So let's move to the next chapter, that is the black aeroplane. The moon was coming up in the east behind me, and stars were shining in the clear sky above me. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. I was happy to be alone high up above the sleeping countryside. I was flying my old Dakota aeroplane over France back to England. I was dreaming of my holiday and looking forward to being with my family. I looked at my watch, 1:30 in the morning. I should call Paris control soon, I thought as I looked down past the nose of the aeroplane. I saw the lights of the big city in front of me. I switched on the radio and said, Paris control Dakota DS-088 here. Can you hear me? I am on my way to England. Over. The voice from the radio answered immediately. DS-088, I can hear you. You ought to turn 12 degrees west now. DS-088, over. I checked the map and the compass and switched over to my second and last fuel tank and turned the Dakota 12 degrees west towards England. I'll be in the time for breakfast, I thought. A good big English breakfast. Everything was going well. It was an easy flight. Paris was about 150 kilometers behind me when I saw the clouds, storm clouds. They were a huge. This is the explanation of the clouds, that how the authors saw the clouds, and he's explaining about that clouds, that they were huge. They looked like black mountains standing in front of me across the sky. I knew I could not fly up and over them. I did not have enough fuel to fly around them to the north or south. I ought to go back to Paris, I thought, but I wanted to get home. I wanted that breakfast. I'll take the risk, I thought, and I flew that old Dakota straight into the storm. Inside the clouds, everything was suddenly black. I was impossible to see anything. So here it is showing that inside the clouds what all was there, Arthur uh, and how Arthur was able to come out of these clouds. Inside the clouds, everything was suddenly black. It was impossible to see anything outside the aeroplane. The old aeroplane jumped and twisted in the air. I looked at the compass. I couldn't believe. See, these are the clouds, and this is one flight which came in front of the uh, Dakota, and this only helped then show the way to the other. Let's read further. My eyes, the compass was turning round and round and round. It was dead. It would not work. The other instrument was suddenly dead too. I tried the radio. Paris Control, can you hear me? There was no answer. The radio was dead too. I had no radio, no compass, and I could not see where I was. I lost in the storm. Then, in the black clouds quite near me, I saw another aeroplane. It had no lights on its wings, but I could see it flying next to me through the storm. I could see the pilot's face turned towards me. I was very glad to see another person. He lifted one hand and waved. Follow me, he was saying, follow me. He knows that I am lost and he is trying to help me. He turned his aeroplane slowly to the north in front of my Dakota so that it would be easier for me to follow him. I was very happy to go behind the strange aeroplane like an obedient child. After half an hour, the strange black aeroplane was still there in front of me in the clouds. Now there was only enough fuel in my old Dakota's last tank to fly for 5 or 10 minutes more. I was starting to feel frightened again, but then he started to go down and I followed through the storm. Suddenly I came out of the clouds and saw two long straight lines of lights in front of me. It was a runway, an airport. I was safe. I turned to look for my friend in the black aeroplane, but the sky was empty. There was nothing there. The black aeroplane was gone. I could not see it anywhere. I landed and was not sorry to walk away from the old Dakota near the control tower. I went and asked a woman in the control center where I was and who the other pilot was. I wanted to say thank you. She looked at me very strangely and then laughed. Another airplane? Up there in this storm, no other airplanes were flying tonight. Yours was the only one I could see on the radar. So who helped me to arrive there safely without a compass or a radio and without any more fuel in my tank? Who was the pilot on the strange black aeroplane flying in the storm without lights? So the author was thinking that who was it? So this is also an easy chapter and a very small chapter. Hope you understood because the language is very easy and I told you the important lines and highlighted it. You can note down it or you can pause the video and write it. It is very easy and and the author landed safely in his destination. So these are some questions. So you can do. These are all your important questions from NCRT. So you can try these questions by yourselves. Hope you understood the chapter. So let me tell you one thing that like every chapter we also have the assignment for this chapter. If you want it, so let me tell you the steps. This is my channel. Visit my channel and then click on videos. Like this is the video. This will come here in the place of Thief Story and Thief Story will go there. So like let me tell you first in from the Thief Story only. If you scroll down this, click on show more. This is my Instagram account. You can, if you click this, you will redirect it to my Instagram account. And this is my mail ID. If you want the assignment, you can take it. This is the RTC or extract based questions one assignment, and the other is of question answers. So you can mail me further queries and concerns, and for the assignment, uh, after you mail me, this is my mail account. You can receive it. So this all was I already that I want to tell. Thank you, friends, for watching the video. Hope you liked it. Thank you.